Apologies, just for my record.
Yeah, Councillor Courtenay and Councillor Rowley. I haven't heard of Councillor Furness.
Right. And for Councillor Furness? Okay, Councillor Furness will be marked as absent. Are there declarations of interest?
No.
No. And single item today, which is best value notice and organisational improvement plan. Did you want to introduce it?
Yes.
I will, Chair, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I think that obviously the committee will be aware of where we've got to in terms of the best value notice. So there's a few things I just wanted to say. So I think obviously ever since we had the best value notice land back in April, we fully accepted it and we recognise that as an authority we need to improve. The first thing we wanted to do was to listen. So you'll be aware that we held a series of workshops, obviously one with this committee, and I think that's given us a really clear understanding of how others see us. So thanks to this committee for all of the contributions that you made. And the input from those workshops has really helped to shape the plan. I think it's important, so when we go to Cabinet with the final plan, we're intending to share the readouts from those workshops so that people can actually see how we've listened and reflected on that. And then the plan itself is, I guess, the blueprint for how we're going to strive to improve the organisation. You'll see in there, we very much see this as an opportunity for a reset. In terms of the plan itself, it's set out in a number of sections. So we set out a statement of understanding. We've set out the insights that I've just touched on from the engagement that we held and also from our own self-assessment. We've then set out the ambition and our 5 priorities in there, which are rebuild trust and shared ownership across the combined authority, strengthen governance, oversight and accountability, build a high-performing organisation with a strong operating model, embed a culture of continuous improvement and openness, and deliver strategic clarity, long-term planning and prepare for the next phase of devolution. Then we've got an action plan which is summarised in the plan, and actually behind that is a much more detailed action plan that obviously has more detail around the owners, timeframes, etc. And that detailed action plan will be included in the report to Cabinet. So we're seeking from the committee an endorsement of the plan ahead of it being presented to Cabinet for consideration. And also we wanted to have a discussion around the role of this committee in terms of supporting the improvement, and some actions in the plan I guess will be more relevant to this committee than others, but we wanted to make sure that this committee builds into its work plan how it supports the improvement going forward.
Thank you, Tom. And just so that colleagues know, the Cabinet meeting that this will be considered at is on the 27th, it's a week on Friday. Can I open it up to colleagues for questions or comments? Can I?
Can everybody hear me if I shout? Thank you. Oh, thank you, Tom. Just to say that I felt the workshop was very useful in terms of being able to put very openly our views on that. I thought that was, I think it was the guy from the Local Government Association that chaired that meeting. So yeah, I found that a really useful opportunity going forward, definitely.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, I would agree with you, it was an open and frank conversation, which is what was required. Libby? It's the one by your left hand that's... So your right hand even.
Thank you. Hope this is working. So just building on what Karen said, obviously it was really good to have the opportunity to have our feedback. I think without breaking confidences, the one thing that all members present in that meeting expressed, and it's really good to see in this, we all want relationships to improve. We all want to see that benefit, and it's really good to see the kind of recognition of 6 partners in all of this, not 1 + 5. That's repeated throughout the document and it's really good to read. I would say though, obviously with respect to Transport Committee, in the improvement plan itself, under the Statement of Understanding, you don't mention Transport Committee as one of the consultees, just a tiny thing, but obviously from this committee inputting. It's just a small thing that can be tweaked. I know it's a living document, so it'll change as things proceed. It's really good to see the very structured approach that you're taking. So you're bringing in additional resource, so you're getting consultants in to help with the improvement. And it's great to read as well about the dedicated resource to support this internally. I would ask about the term of this. Is it permanent secondment? Referring to paragraphs 7 and 8 of the kind of main report. So you list a number of roles that are there, a lot of internal secondments. Are these permanent or for a fixed term? Obviously cultural change is not something that happens, as you'll appreciate, so it doesn't happen immediately. It requires constant dripping on a stone, so to speak. It requires constant modification and rinse and repeating the kind of key values that are arising from this. But overall, really positive about what's come forward. Really grateful that we're having this meeting. We're getting a chance to discuss this and feed in. And from my perspective, really happy to endorse this as a way forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Libby. Did you want to respond to cover some of the specific questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chair. So I'll pick up that comment about referencing the Transport Committee, because I think it's important that we do that. Obviously, we held 7 workshops, so we've got a really broad view of different people's perspectives. So that's really important, but we'll make sure that's picked up. In terms of the resource, so there's been quite a spike in terms of actually planning and getting in place what we need to do to move forward in the sort of last few months, and there's going to be quite a spike in the next 3 to 6 months. So those secondees will be in place for as long as we need that resource. But I think the key point, and I think you touched on it there, Councillor McCollum, is this needs to be embedded across the organisation. So absolutely, this is everyone's business, and whilst we put in place that resource to get us into a good position and get us onto the front foot, this will be embedded across the organisation from top to bottom. So it'll be a priority for everyone. So we'll absolutely make sure that we've got the right resource across the organisation to deliver on this. Just, if I may as well, Chair, in terms of the Local Government Association, so they've obviously supported the workshops. We'll also have, you'll see referenced in the paper, we'll have an independent advisory board that'll be made up by the LGA and other reps, and that'll oversee and support our progress and provide us with that support and challenge. And they're absolutely independent of the Combined Authority, and they're there to support us, but also to challenge us, and they'll be key in terms of updating and advising government on the progress that we're making.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any further comments or questions? I think just to pick up on one of the things that Libby said and the reference in the report, that we shouldn't be 1+5. I think there's a strong sense from everyone I've spoken to that but when we are working more collaboratively and together, what we can achieve as a combined authority and across the region will be better, and therefore, in that sense, it's a real no-brainer that we do need to do this. Tom, were you looking to come back in?
I was just going to add another point, actually, Steve. So one of the actions in there is around how we strengthen the role of the Cabinet portfolio holders. And obviously the portfolio holder for Transport and Infrastructure chairs this committee, so I think it'll absolutely flow through this committee, but we're looking to do that across the whole of the portfolio, but obviously Transport's a key element of that. And I suppose the second part of the report, which I touched on in the intro, is just to make sure that obviously, assuming the plan is adopted by Cabinet in a few weeks, we'll bring it back to the next agenda of this committee so that we can have a proper conversation with all committee members around exactly what the role of this committee is in supporting some of those actions. Some of them, as I say, will be more relevant to the committee than others, but we want to make sure that this committee and all the others has that oversight, but also that ability to support and challenge the improvement as well.
Thank you. I think it goes without saying that would be useful to do.
Absolutely.
So go on, Libby.
Sorry, just a final comment from me, just reflecting on the kind of third point of your strategic priorities, talking about building a high-performing organisation. Obviously, the kind of slogan, the kind of underlying tagline for Tees Valley Combined Authority is anything is possible. This is a region full of possibilities, full of promise, full of so much resource that is as yet untapped and fully realised. And it's just really positive to see the approach that you've taken, Mr. Bryan, in seeking views, in bringing in external, independent people to support you through this journey. And for what it's worth, you have my full unconditional support in seeking to improve how the Combined Authority works and how all 6 of us can support the endeavours to make Tees Valley the absolute best Combined Authority region in the UK. Thank you.
I'd second that, definitely.
No, they're very encouraging and supportive comments, so thank you for that. And as I say, I'm absolutely committed to making the improvements we need to make, because as Steve said there, a strong Tees Valley means strong Darlington, a strong Middlesbrough, a strong Hartlepool, strong Redcar, and absolutely our ambition should be to be the best region in the country, and we'll strive to do that. And Stockton as well, Councillor McCollum just reminded me.
Oops. Thank you, colleagues, for those contributions, members, and yourself, Tom, as well. With I think there's a couple of minor changes you're going to make in relation to what Libby mentioned to the report, but
yeah, I think that we'll absolutely make sure that we pick up the reference to the Transport Committee. Sorry for that omission. I think the resource point was more of an observation, and that's just hopefully I've clarified that.
Yeah. Okay. But otherwise, colleagues are happy to endorse the report before us, and I will take that message on to Cabinet when we meet.
Yes, thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
I'm definitely going to be back.
You are going to be back, yes. And the only other item on the agenda was date and time of next meeting. I don't know if that's available, or is it already in the diary? I think it is already in the diary, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
It escapes me at the moment.
Well, if it's in the diary, that's fine, yeah. In which case, thank you very much for attending this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.